Hello and welcome everyone. This is Professor Siddharth Surana. I hope you guys are doing good. और मैं तो हमेशा मस्ती रहता हूँ. For those who have joined my channel recently, I have been in teaching profession, teaching CA Final Direct Tax since the last 10 years. And in the field of CA coaching, following things, I have been the first person who has been into this, and obviously now everyone is following what I am doing. We at Coppergate Educare were the first organization in the country who started the concept of recorded video lectures direct to home. We are the first people who did it. Our organization, Coppergate Educare, where the best faculties of every subject are available to you. Second, online live lecture. Way back in 2017, Facebook Live, when no one knew what a live lecture was. First person in the country who did that, plus uploading on YouTube and all that. First person. Everybody is following that now. Third, because of my command over both languages, Hindi bhi bahut badhiya bolta hu, and I have got proper command over English as well. I was the first person in the country who actually started video lecture recording in two languages, separate recording, specially 100% English for South Indian students, and again everyone is following it. If this was not enough, recently the initiative which I took, web series on MCQs, 15 episodes, I have solved 1600 MCQ questions and excellent response given by students. The reason behind the final answer, because our textbooks and institute answers, they give the question and the answer. How did you get the answer? What were the steps in the sum? We don't know. I solved all my MCQs and I uploaded them, and everyone is following that also. Other people have already started uploading MCQ solutions with reasons. Never forget who was the one who started it. Now, this pandemic has hit all of us badly. Student, teacher, everyone is at par as far as a beating because of the pandemic is concerned, and which is why this attempt, November 2020, I took the initiative of MCQ. I took the second initiative, that our amendment lectures in both languages, that is Hindi English mix and 100% English, both, which we generally sell, but we have already uploaded that on our channel. On the playlist tab you will get it, because the lectures were uploaded on different dates, so in the playlist you will get in order. And also the revision lecture, full direct tax has been revised in a span of about 3 to 4 hours, both languages, again Hindi English mix and 100% English. That portion has also been uploaded on the playlist section on my channel. You will find amendment English, amendment mix, revision English, revision mix. In fact, that revision lecture, generally you watch my past videos, you will observe I am strongly against the concept of watching video lectures one day before your exam, because that's not correct. That is the time for self study, that is the time for solving sums on your own, that is not the time for watching lectures. But because if we go by the current timetable, assuming that the exam takes place as per the current timetable, we have a 3 days gap before direct tax, and with that you can actually make most of this revision lecture. I wanted to do the best I can for students in these testing times, which is why the 2 amendment lectures and 2 revision lectures, again in the playlist section, you will get in the proper order. If you go through the videos on the channel, they may not be in a proper sequence, but in the playlist section you will get them. But this is not enough. I have decided to bring some more series of lectures again for the November 2020 attempt. What am I going to do for you? Every time before 1 month before your exam, I generally keep a lecture for all my face-to-face batch students. In that lecture, I cover the case laws which are applicable for the relevant attempt. There are case laws from the main book, and institute on their website uploads something called judicial update, the more recent case laws which were pronounced by the respective courts after the study material was made. So we cover case laws, ICDS, income computation and disclosure standards. I teach that in that separate lecture, and RTP, obviously these days everyone is doing it, but everyone has their own style of doing it. So what is happening here is, I'll explain these things one by one. Case laws part has got 2 things. One, the case laws which were recorded from the main book, ICI study material. Behind every chapter there are case laws. all the students who were eligible for the May 2020 attempt but could not give it already were issued that video lecture. They have already been given. So this is same as the May 2020 attempt. There will not be any separate recording and there will not be any video on that. Now this is already provided to the students. But these judicial updates are recently uploaded on ICAI website. So I will be recording these lectures and uploading on my channel. The ICDS portion was also recorded in the May 2020 attempt, and along with this lecture it was already provided to the students. So that ICDS part is already available with all the students who had enrolled for our face-to-face batches, or also for our video lecture students. Already this part is already provided to them along with their video lecture. So this part is already given to the students. This part has been already given to the students. Okay, these two things are given, but this I will be uploading very soon. And now I will talk about the RTP lecture. If you observe your RTP is divided in three parts. First, in the RTP starts with all the circulars. But these circulars are again separately uploaded on ICAI website by the name of statutory update. So this statutory update and these circulars are one and the same. I don't know why they do it. They upload circulars first separately by calling them statutory update, and then they make the RTP in that same circulars are again given. So I am going to be recording a lecture and uploading on my channel about these statutory updates, specifically the updates about 115BAA and 115BAB, which are the sections relating to the new taxation regime and which are very, very important provisions. I will be uploading this lecture separate. So this I won't be covering in my RTP lecture. This I will be uploading. So obviously once I upload this part is also done, and I will be recording one lecture on MCQs with reasoning, and there is one lecture in the subjective questions, because along with the question in the RTP they also print the solution to the question. So it is not required that I solve them for you. I will be discussing them. So they may be in the same lecture, they may be in the separate lecture. We will see the duration of the lecture and decide. But effectively, if I have to be clear, I am going to upload 4 lectures now. 4 lectures. One lecture will be this circular part. That is the statutory update. That is the so-called amendment. The changes that have taken place from May 2020 to November 2020 attempt. This statutory update will be a must watch for all students. In fact, even those who had taken our May 20 classes. So that way all your amendments of November 20 will get covered. One judicial update about the new case laws. This will again be important for students of our face-to-face classes and our video lecture students, because main book case laws are already provided to them. And one RTP lecture. I can cover both these things in one or two, that we will see. Whether I want to cover in one or whether I want to cover in two, that we will see. And this circular part is already covered here. Okay. So basically 3 lectures you can say: judicial update, statutory update and RTP. In that RTP, MCQ and subjective I may do together or I may do separate. That I will see. But these things are going to be available very soon. In that, students should give maximum respect to this part, statutory update, because some of these latest circulars are highly important and relevant. And secondly, students, I request you to kindly give good respect to these MCQs, this lecture which I will be uploading, for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, these MCQs are difficult category MCQs. They are not very easy, like really difficult MCQs. Okay. And second reason is that I have taken some effort in recording those 15 episodes of MCQ web series and uploading them, because I want to make sure any student, whether you have studied direct text from me or someone else, but your MCQ question should give you a guarantee of 25 marks, and your remaining target, whether it is your passing of 40 or your aggregate of 50 or your exemption of 60, I call in class mega exemption 80, whatever is your target, you can target the other 70 marks to achieve that. But minimum, maximum it can be 30 on 30, minimum I want to target 25 marks for all the students, like like you won't call it a gift, because in the times of pandemic, it is just that I want to help the students and all the students, whether you have studied from me or no. And that is why at least those students who have sincerely followed my MCQ lectures, I request you, please watch this lecture. It is going to be a very small lecture and plus a case study based MCQ. So they will give you a full story, and on that story they will ask you 5 questions. These case study based MCQs are very likely to be asked. In our textbook, we had one such question in business trust chapter. We had one in penalties chapter, but now they have introduced more case study based. One from PGBP chapter, one from capital gain and other sources chapter. A third is again from PGBP about your old regime, new regime, so involving a little bit of company taxation also, and good level. When obviously once I explain to you, everything will become clear, especially where you are going wrong, because ultimately if your final answer is wrong, you will not get marks. So please watch these lectures. These lectures are going to be uploaded in the first part today. Actually, I was not sure whether I do statutory updates or MCQs, what I should do. First, I am opening the RTP. This is RTP. This is statutory update given to you. And statutory update means these circulars, and this statutory update only is also separately uploaded on institute website. So if you do these circulars, it is as good as you are doing this, or if you do this, it is as good as you are doing the circular. This is one and the same. And the best news is, whether you are in old syllabus, very few students, or you are in new syllabus, most of you all, the RTP, the circulars, the questions, MCQ, subjective, the statutory update, the judicial update, absolutely same. So old syllabus, new syllabus, all students, let's do one thing. Because the circulars are the first part, let me record my I was not sure when I started what I will do. I will do MCQs first, or I will do statutory update first, but because the first part is the circulars, let me finish the circulars, then obviously MCQs will be in a separate lecture. So these are basically, see, as far as your November 2020 attempt is concerned, I hope you are very clear that your previous year is 1920, your assessment year is 2021. The Finance Act applicable for you will be Finance Act 2019, and in my amendment lectures which I have already uploaded, I have communicated, in fact explained, taught everything, that in 2019 there were 3 finance acts. So there was one interim budget by the outgoing government, final budget by the new government on 5th of July, and there was this taxation laws amendment ordinance 2019, special relaxation for corporate taxation, that part. So all the amendments which came in the Finance Act, the budget, those amendment lectures have already been uploaded in both languages. And these lectures which I am recording, इसके अंदर मैं massively English use करेगा, ज्यादातर English ही use होगी, हिंदी भी appropriate occasion के ऊपर use करता रहूंगा. तो आप चाहे हिंदी बैकग्राउंड के स्टूडेंट हो, you are English background student, all students can actually watch these lectures. There is no point in recording these lectures in 2 languages. मैं हिंदी भी यूज करूंगा, इंग्लिश भी यूज करूंगा. स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ साउथ विल अंडरस्टैंड, नॉर्थ के बच्चों को समझ में आएगा, कहीं के भी बच्चे सबको समझ में आएगा. लेकिन अमेंडमेंट के लेक्चर तो 2 अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस में ऑलरेडी अपलोड हो गए. तो ऑल द प्रोविजंस ऑफ द बजट आर ऑलरेडी अपलोडेड. दीज आर जस्ट द न्यू सर्क्यूलर्स दैट हैव बीन given in the recent times, and one by one we have to go through the circulars. Let's see what are they giving as far as our circulars are concerned. First, they are talking about something called capital gains. Capital gains से related एक section है 47, which is talking about transactions which are not included in the definition of taxable transfer. Transactions which are not included in the definition of taxable transfer. When the transfer is not a taxable transfer, can I say capital gain will not arise only? Using the word exempt is also wrong. Capital gain arise ही नहीं होगा. There won't be any computation. और उसके अंदर क्रॉस रेफरेंस दिया है सेक्शन 115 AC का. AC हमारे टेक्स्ट बुक के अंदर स्पेशल रेट्स ऑफ टैक्स, देयर इज अ चैप्टर वेयर वी डिस्कस नॉन रेसिडेंट्स के लिए ADR GDR का जो ट्रांजैक्शन है, ट्रांसफर ऑफ ये इनकम फ्रॉम बॉन्ड्स का जो ट्रांजैक्शन है, इससे रिलेटेड कोरिलेशन में एक प्रोविजन आया था दैट इफ द सिक्योरिटीज आर ऑन IFSC, देन नोटिफाइड सिक्योरिटीज, स्पेसिफाइड सिक्योरिटीज का IFSC के ऊपर अगर ट्रेडिंग हो रहा है, देन इट वोंट बी इंक्लूडेड इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ टैक्सेबल ट्रांसफर. Transfer of a capital asset being such securities as may be notified by the central government, which are made by a non-resident on a recognized stock exchange, which is located in International Financial Services Center, that is IFSC, will not be considered as a taxable transfer, will not be considered. And इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने एक नोटिफिकेशन दिया, एमसीक्यू में शायद कभी ये आ सकता है, सम के अंदर भी लेस लाइकली लगता है मेरे को, बट यस फॉरेन करेंसी का कोई बॉन्ड्स है, यूनिट्स, वेरी सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी एक्चुअली, यूनिट्स ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड, यूनिट्स ऑफ बिजनेस ट्रस्ट, फॉरेन करेंसी डिनोमिनेटेड इक्विटी शेयर, यूनिट ऑफ ऑल्टरनेट इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड, जो हमारे इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स का चैप्टर है. सी बेसिकली आई डोंट वांट टू एक्ट लाइक अ ट्रांसलेटर दैट आई एम रीडिंग इन इंग्लिश and then translating in Hindi. That does not serve the purpose. The beauty of a teacher is someone who can explain to you the provisions in such a way that you can explain it to others. You yourself understand the concept, you can explain it to others and also score good marks. Both objectives should be achieved. Only concepts and not scoring marks, that's not advisable. Only marks and absolute zero knowledge about concept, that is also not advisable. So concept is clear, and the remaining part you can read and understand. We will not get into the detail. I don't see any point or sense in behaving like a translator, reading in English and translating. So I'll come to the next chapter. I'm talking about a chapter called Income from Other Sources. This is a notification with respect to section 56(2) clause 10. गिफ्ट वाला अगर आपको प्रोविजन याद होगा तो, if you receive more than 50,000 rupees का gift in money, then you have movable property without any consideration, immovable property without any consideration, and for inadequate consideration also. So you get that 50,000 ka limit. In movable you get the limit for the entire category. In immovable you get per transaction, and in that also this year there is an amendment that already 50,000 limit you had, plus if now it is within 5% range, then also there won't be any tax. In other words, gift will be taxable when the difference is more than 50,000 and also more than 5% of the actual consideration. We have discussed this concept, this amendment, when we studied our actual chapter. We have discussed this concept that we are going to be allowed a 5% difference between our consideration and the stamp duty value. 50,000 was already there, but over there was another amendment which said that we will notify some cases where this gift section will not be applicable. Notified exceptions, and now they have notified this exception that the provision of gift will not apply to any immovable property, being land or building or both, received by a resident of an unauthorized colony in the National Capital Territory of Delhi, NCR, National Capital Region. So Delhi, Ghaziabad, Faridabad, Gurgaon I think also is covered, Noida, Greater Noida. I may be wrong in the geographical knowledge, but I'm sure my students are aware of what is the National Capital Territory. So over there is this scheme that if you are a resident of an unauthorized colony, so on that, if you are receiving the possession of that unauthorized colony, that this 56(2) clause 10 is not going to be applicable. They have defined resident as well as unauthorized colony. You can just read it once, it will serve the purpose. And now they have discussed, and this is actually the real objective of this statutory update lecture. They have discussed your 115 BAA and BAB in detail, in complete detail. These details will include two things. One, things that we had already discussed in class when I taught you math chapter. In math chapter, thankfully I taught math chapter after the amendment was given, after the ordinance was announced. In all my batches, math happened after that. So already in math chapter I have taught. But with respect to these two sections, some more clarifications have been released, which are important to be studied. What are the things that we are aware? We have new taxation regime for domestic companies. 115 BAA will be available for all companies. Just domestic company, it should be domestic company. It should be willing to leave a long list of tax benefits like additional depreciation, 32 AD, everything, income related chapter 6, except 80JJAA that you can take, because that is for giving employment. You will have to leave your deductions in your PGBP chapter, like your scientific research, all that is given here, and you pay tax at a concessional rate of 22%, compulsory surcharge of 10%, and compulsory HEC of 4% will make the total 25.168%. And for newly incorporated manufacturing companies which have come into existence newly from 1st October 2019, commencing manufacturing up to 31st March 2023, not using any building which was previously used as hotel or convention center, not splitting up or reconstruction of existing business. Maximum second-hand local plant and machinery should be 20%. More conditions because we are giving a very, very concessional rate of tax. 15% plus compulsory 10% surcharge plus compulsory 4% HEC. Effective rate in 115 BAA was coming to 25.168 and 115 BAB for manufacturing companies effective rate. So I am adding basic tax year 15, year 22, surcharge 10% compulsory irrespective of amount of income and 4% HEC. Effective tax rate 25.168 in 115 BAA and 17.16 in 115 BAB. And in 115 BAB they said that you should not be doing any other business. But then other business not allowed. Other business not allowed. But it can have house property income. It can be selling any of its machineries, have capital gains. Capital gain on depreciable asset, maybe capital gain on non-depreciable. Something as simple as a bank interest. What about those incomes? Will they get this concessional rate of tax? That's a big question. Big question. And thus, some clarifications. Plus, in the definition of manufacturing, some businesses have been excluded, which is important for your MCQ. It can come as a part of some everywhere. And thus, it was necessary that I discuss these provisions with all the students, especially those students who have learnt the full portion from me at any of the locations, whether it was Charni Road, Mulund, Vashi, Kerala, Ahmedabad, except Ahmedabad, full portion I teach everywhere. So it was necessary that I teach these provisions to everyone, even all my video lecture students, the number is very big, and thus it was necessary that we discuss this. So this lecture, this statutory update will serve like something which is going to complement your other study. This will complete your full study for your paper number 7. Let's see. What have they given initially? Things that we have discussed. Only notice in the first column they have given 115B. मतलब उन्होंने 115B double A को इधर रखा है, 115B double A को यहाँ पे रखा है, BAB पहले कॉलम में, डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी, एनी डोमेस्टिक कंपनी. एक बात क्लियर है, न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम डोमेस्टिक कंपनी के लिए है. ओके. और रेट मैंने आपको बता दिया, बेसिक बता दिया, सरचार्ज कंपलसरी लगेगा ये बता दिया, इफेक्टिव टैक्स रेट हमने ऑलरेडी ऊपर लिख दिया, we have already mentioned. And yes, a very, very important factor, we have discussed this in class also. Once you opt for these new taxation rates, which are optional, you have to exercise the option on or before the due date of return filing. That condition also we have studied in class. Rate of tax will reduce. That advantage is clearly visible because normal rate of tax is 30%. If your turnover 2 years ago was up to 400 crore, it is 25%. With HEC, that will be higher than these rates only. With HEC. In fact, even if surcharge is there, that will become even higher. खाली HEC भी लगा दोगे, देखिए 30 तो पहले से ही हायर है, 25 इससे तो हायर है. If you compare with this, you might feel that 25 is lower, but this is basic. Whether there is surcharge or no, HEC will be compulsory. This will become 26. With HEC again, खाली HEC से भी ना ये ज्यादा हो जाता है नॉर्मल वाला, और अगर सरचार्ज हो गया तो और भी ज्यादा होगा. I am very clear about this statement that these new rates are lower than your old rates. Plus एक hidden benefit is that MAT apply नहीं करेगा. तो MAT में वैसे टैक्स क्या आ रहा है वो तो फैक्टर है, I agree with that. That is a very important factor. What is your tax liability? But in MAT you have to get your book profit certified. At least that overhead cost. CA का तो लॉस होगा, CA को पगार कम मिलेगा, लेकिन if you think about from the assessee's point of view, तो एटलीस्ट वो बुक प्रॉफिट सर्टिफिकेशन का जो फीस है वो तो कम होएगा. So that is one more hidden advantage. But yes, they have given us computation. Income जिसके ऊपर कंसेशनल टैक्स लगेगा, that is तो 17.16 and 25.168. But the difference is this is only that income which is from your manufacturing activity. For your other income, आपका हाउस प्रॉपर्टी हो गया, आपका अदर सोर्सेस हो गया, वो सब आपका 17.16 में नहीं जाएगा. ये बहुत जरूरी बात है. सो योर एंटिटी, पहले मैं 115BAB की बात करता हूं. 115BAB आपका जो एंटिटीआई है उसमें आपका पीजीबीपी अलग कर दो एंड अदर इनकम अलग कर दो. पीजीबीपी एक बात तो क्लियर है, दिस विल बी ओनली मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, नथिंग एल्स अंडर ऑल सर्कमस्टेंसेस, वो तो 17.16. अदर इनकम 17.16 पे नहीं जाएगा. इसके लिए क्या रेट्स है that has been clarified here. लेकिन as far as 115BAA is concerned, everything will be taxed at 25.168%, which is all inclusive rate, notwithstanding anything contained anywhere but subject to the provisions of chapter 12. Subject to the provisions of chapter 12. It is necessary that first of all मैं आपको समझा दूं कि ये chapter 12 होता है. What is this chapter 12? Chapter 12 ranges from the sections 110 to 115 BBG. ये है आपका chapter 12. इसके बाद आपका 12A स्टार्ट होता है, NRI टैक्सेशन, 115C, D, E, स्पेसिफिक एसएससी, स्पेसिफिक इनकम, कॉम्बो हुआ तो स्पेशल रेट. ये चैप्टर 12 110 से 115 BBG तक के सेक्शन. दैट मींस लिसन, शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन 111 है 15%. इज दैट इन चैप्टर 12? यस. लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन 112 20% या विदाउट इंडेक्सेशन 10% इन सर्टेन केसेस. अब देख लो इस रेंज में आता है क्या 112? स्टूपिड क्वेश्चन आई एम आस्किंग यू. इज 111 बिटवीन दीज सेक्शंस? Is 112 between these sections? 112 है stock market long term capital gain 10% on the excess over 1 lakh. Is this in this range? Yes. 115A हुआ तो A ठीक है, नॉन रेसिडेंट्स के लिए. These are sections of domestic companies, तो 115A यहां पे अप्लाई नहीं करेगा. But what I am trying to make you understand right now is the meaning of chapter 12, that is special rates of tax. Incomes for which special rate of tax has been prescribed, like long term capital gain, 2 sections, 112, 112 है. Short term capital gain, only 1 section, 111 है. Casual winnings 115BB, casual winnings वो तो हो सकता है, करेक्ट और नो? Those incomes will still be taxable at this rate. इनफैक्ट वो यहां पे भी अप्लाई करेगा. इन्होंने यहां पे नहीं दिया है, पर नीचे वाले में दिया. रेट ऑफ टैक्स ऑन इनकम्स कवर्ड अंडर चैप्टर 12. वही एग्जांपल दिया ना, 112A, 112, 111A. मैं तो आपको और एग्जांपल देता हूं. कैजुअल विनिंग, इन केस इस डोमेस्टिक कंपनी के पास ऐसी कोई इनकम है तो सच इनकम विल बी टैक्सेबल एट द रेट्स ऑफ चैप्टर 12. यहां पे भी वही दिया है, एंड कंपल्सरी 10%. तो देखिए हमने जो यहां पे ब्रेकअप किया है ना, ये जो ब्रेकअप किया है, अगर इसमें कोई चैप्टर 12 की इनकम है विच इज टैक्स्ड एट 111A, तो 111A का 15% लगेगा. 112 तो लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन का टैक्स लगेगा. 112A तो वो लगेगा. कोई कैजुअल विनिंग है तो वो लगेगा. एंड बिकॉज ये न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम है तो कंपल्सरी सरचार्ज 10% भी लगेगा. इन अदर वर्ड्स, न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम लेने वाली बोथ कंपनीज, BAA या BAB, 25.168 या 17.16, it will have to separate its income into special rate income and normal rate income. Special rate income will be taxed as per the special rate section जो इस रेंज में दिया हुआ है, इस रेंज में. और जो नॉर्मल इनकम है वो इसका जाएगा 25.168 में. इसका अगर PGBP है तो 17.16. अदर इनकम के लिए अगेन वी विल चेक, क्योंकि हाउस प्रॉपर्टी हुआ, IFOS हुआ, उसके लिए उन्होंने कुछ और प्रोविजन दिया. दे हैव गिवन 22. मतलब दे आर सेइंग, मैं आपको अगर ऐसे समझाऊं तो लिसन, ओनली मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, नो अदर बिजनेस. तो जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्टिविटी है खाली उसके ऊपर ये वाला, एंड फॉर ऑल योर अदर इनकम्स विच विल बी नॉन बिजनेस, क्योंकि नॉन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बिजनेस तो नहीं हो सकता है, नहीं तो आप 115 BAB के लिए एलिजिबल ही नहीं. ऑल योर अदर इनकम्स यू टेक दीज रेट्स. वैसे भी दिस रेट इज अवेलेबल फॉर ऑल द इनकम्स एक्सेप्ट स्पेशल रेट चैप्टर 12. तो देखिए ऐसा कुछ होगा. 115BAA, कंप्यूट द NTTI, एंड इसका 2 ही पार्ट में स्प्लिट होगा. चैप्टर 12 का जो स्पेशल रेट है वो चैप्टर 12 के स्पेशल रेट में जाएगा, वेदर इट इज 111A और योर लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स और योर कैजुअल विनिंग्स. एंड जो भी आपकी अदर इनकम है, दैट अदर इनकम विल बी टैक्स्ड एट 25.168. इसमें बिजनेस इनकम भी आएगा, नॉन बिजनेस इनकम भी आएगा. आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रहे हो, आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग नहीं कर रहे हो, क्योंकि रिमेंबर BAB इज अवेलेबल ओनली फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज इनकॉर्पोरेटेड ऑन और आफ्टर 1 अक्टूबर. वो भी नीचे कंडीशन में आएगा, लेकिन हमने क्लास में डिस्कस कर ली. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इट इन क्लास. इनकॉर्पोरेटेड ऑन और आफ्टर 1 अक्टूबर. सो ओल्ड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज ऑल्सो, existing manufacturing companies, their manufacturing business also will come here. A trading business, service business, any kind of business. Their other sources, their house property, that short term capital gain which is normal rate, क्योंकि long term is always special rate, but short term only 111 is special rate. Other than 111, like short term capital gain on land, short term capital gain on jewelry, all that is normal rate. Everything will come here. Everything will come here. But if we talk about 115 BAB, now understand what will happen. What will we do in 115 BAB? Let me explain to you in a more clear manner, better manner. For 115 BAB, ऊपर BAA के साथ में करते हैं तो थोड़ा ज्यादा ओके जगह नहीं है, इधर ही करते हैं. 115 BAB, compute the NTTI. First step, anything which is taxable in chapter 12, special rate, apply that special rate, apply the special rate. मतलब इनका भी लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन 112 है, शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन, कैजुअल विनिंग लगा. अब बात करते हैं अदर इनकम की. यहां पे तो पूरा 25.16 सेट में जा रहा है, मगर यहां पे इफ इट इज देयर बिजनेस एंड बी क्लियर दिस कंपनी इज अलाउड टू हैव ओनली मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बिजनेस अदर देन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, अगर इसका कुछ भी बिजनेस निकला तो ये 115 BAB के लिए एलिजिबल ही नहीं है. इट हैज टू गो इन BAA. सो बिजनेस इनकम 17.16 और इसका जो बच गया अदर इनकम है, अदर इनकम, ऑल दैट अदर इनकम विल बी टैक्स्ड इसके हिसाब से 115 BAA की रेट्स पे. सो 22 प्लस 10% प्लस HEC. मैं यहां पे 22 लिख रहा हूं बिकॉज इन सब रेट्स में यहां पे भी एंड यहां पे भी सरचार्ज एट 10% एंड HEC एट 4% ऑलवेज अप्लाई करेगा. यहां पे भी सरचार्ज 10% एंड HEC एट 4% ऑलवेज अप्लाई करेगा. इन द न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम सरचार्ज एंड HEC आर मैंडेटरी एट 10%. मतलब खाली ये देखिए, सी ये 17.16 लिखा है बट एक्चुअली बेसिक इज 15, सरचार्ज वी आर एडिंग सेपरेट. लाइकवाइज यहां पे 25.168 लिखा है, वी हैव रिटन 25.168 बट बेसिक इज 22 बिकॉज सरचार्ज विल अप्लाई नॉट जस्ट ऑन दिस but also on this for full entity. Here also surcharge will apply on this which will make it 17.16, but it will apply on this also and this also. So effective tax automatically will be higher only. Okay, these rates 25.168 and 17.16 are including surcharge and HEC, but if we are writing surcharge and HEC separately, then we will mention only the basic tax rates out here. In other words, your special rate income will be taxed at special rates only, both in the new taxation regime, both sections, BAA, BAB. And for BAB, when you are taking a very, very heavy concessional rate of tax, but your non-business income is not eligible for that. That is only for the manufacturing activity. So, your non-business income, if you observe carefully, listen to my line, any company satisfying the conditions of BAB is definitely 100% satisfying the condition of BAA, because BAA had only 3 conditions. Condition 1, domestic company, leave all the tax benefits which are same in both sections, and third, decide on or before the due date of filing return, option to be exercised. So BAB has got in fact more conditions. So for these other incomes, you can pay tax as per the BAA rates. That is what is given here. So I have explained everything. Chapter 12 का special rate लगेगा, यहाँ पे भी लगेगा, surcharge compulsory and HEC तो 4% लगता ही है, and all that has been explained with this breakup of mine. Okay? इसके आगे rate of tax on other income which is not there in chapter 12. बोल दिया ना, other income इसका भी 25.168 है और इसका भी 25.168 होगा. We are talking about this other. इसका तो सब कुछ ही 25.168. यहां पे I have made it 22 because I have written surcharge and HEC separately. And यहां पे भी other income जो chapter 12 में नहीं जाता है और आपका PGBP में. Chapter 12 special rate PGBP 17.16, but everything else will be 25.168. लेकिन एक difference इन्होंने surprisingly they have said here you won't get any deduction in respect of any expenditure or allowance, but यहां पे इन्होंने बोला you can claim deduction. और मे बी सपोजिंगली हम अगर हाउस प्रॉपर्टी की बात करें, एग्जांपल लेते हैं, कैन देयर बी हाउस प्रॉपर्टी इनकम दैट विल फॉल इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ अदर इनकम बोथ फॉर दिस कंपनी एंड दिस कंपनी? इन्होंने बोला है यहां पे देयर इज नो रेस्ट्रिक्शन, दैट मींस यू कैन टेक योर स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन, बट अगर आप ये ले रहे हो तो देयर इज रेस्ट्रिक्शन, आप स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन भी नहीं ले सकते हो. मतलब अगर मैं इंटरेस्ट इनकम की बात करूं, विच इज अगेन इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेस, So interest received के सामने we are allowed to take deduction of interest paid. Here you won't get it. Surprisingly, they should have kept this constant, but surprisingly, the restriction of no deduction is given in BAB, not given in BAA. Maybe यहाँ पे आपको business income पे बहुत ज्यादा concessional rate दे दिया, maybe probably that is the reason, but then can't help it. Rate of tax on short-term capital gain from a capital asset on which no depreciation is allowable. Can I say non-depreciable asset? Non-depreciable asset, same rate only, no? 25.168, 25.168, all inclusive, and here there is no restriction regarding deduction. In other words, obviously cost of acquisition you are allowed to deduct, no? How can they make a rule that no deduction of anything against capital gain? That will result in making your sale consideration taxable. That's nonsense. So here there is no restriction. Okay, and these conditions I have taught in class while doing the math chapter, so I'll quickly discuss. For BAB is the first column. Registered owner after 1st October 2019 and start manufacturing up to 31st March 23. These conditions I have taught in the class. I am just revising them. Okay, there is no such condition here. No such condition. It should not be formed by splitting or reconstruction of an existing business. See, existing manufacturing companies are not eligible for BAB. So what we will do? We will liquidate the company and start the same business in the name of another company. That is not allowed. But here there is no such restriction because this is for existing companies also. So no such restriction. Okay. Second hand should not use any plant and machinery previously used for other purposes. They have given a note at the end, but I am explaining the note right now only because this rule is there in 10AA SEZ chapter. This rule is there in 35 AD section specified business. This rule is there in 115 BAB. This rule is there in 80 JJAA. This rule is there in your 80 IAC startups. This rule that you should not be having second hand plant and machinery. But imported second hand on which no depreciation in India is considered or taken ever will be counted as new. And local second hand will also be allowed if it is within 20% of the total. So that only they have explained at the note, but we have done this condition in a lot of chapters. Here there is again no such condition. This is the only condition which is without logic because it is a manufacturing company, but they have given a condition that should not be any building which was earlier used as hotel or convention center. But here again any such condition has not been prescribed. This I have been repeatedly telling you. You should not be doing any business other than manufacturing. So you can have non-business income like house property, other sources, capital gain, and all that will be going. If there is chapter 12, then at chapter 12 rates. Otherwise 22 plus 10 plus 4, 25.168. But here you can do whatever you want. This is very easy actually. BAA is only 3 conditions. Domestic company before due date and leave all your tax benefits. Most of the conditions are only for BAB. Should not be doing any business other than manufacturing continuously. If you observe, I have been telling you this. PGBP can be only manufacturing. Other businesses not allowed. And this is what I wanted to discuss with students, that this they did not introduce initially and they introduced later, and that is why these statutory updates are very important, especially those students who have studied our regular course lectures for the May 20 attempt. Manufacturing will not include the following. ये businesses manufacture के definition में नहीं आएंगे, मतलब ये businesses 115 BAB के लिए ineligible. 115 BAB के लिए ये ineligible है. अगर आपको न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम चाहिए तो इधर आके ले लो, क्योंकि इधर कोई कंडीशन नहीं, 3 कंडीशन. They are not manufacturing. What? Development of computer software. Actually में listen, what is manufacture? Input, process, output. Input, process, output. Input, output, different identity, that is manufacturing. That was the definition of manufacturing way back in the excise law also. And whenever input and output have different identities, SSC claims that as manufacturer to take benefits. They are clear on this, that these will not be included. Computer software will not be included. Mining will not be included. If you are doing mining of marbles and then cutting them into slabs, because the tiles will be as per our measurement, no, that will not be included. Bottling of gas into cylinder, LPG. We are in fact any kind of cylinder which has got inside it is liquid, but when it comes out it becomes gaseous, liquefied petroleum gas, for example. That is not manufacturing. Production of books or films. That way, if you think SSC can claim, what am I manufacturing? I am manufacturing movies, books, not manufacturing, and any other notified businesses. These businesses will be ineligible for 115B, AB. Don't worry. BAA you can take 25.16 special rate will apply, and MAT not applicable in new taxation regime. Correct. CBDT can remove difficulties by further circulars. That option is always available. And this is something again which we have discussed. The new taxation regime till now was appearing to be very, very favorable. Wow. Low rates of tax. Wow. No MAT. Wow. But obviously, to get something, you have to leave something. Following tax benefits. We've studied all this in class. I'll just read the section number, and that also is actually unnecessary consumption of time. But very quickly, 10AA means SEZ deduction you will have to leave. Leave these deductions, then only you get new taxation regime. 32(1)(2)A is additional depreciation. 4 states backward areas 35%, otherwise 20%. Half rate if less than 180 days. 32AD, same 4 states, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Telangana, West Bengal. You get 15% deduction. This year is the last year, next year onwards it is going away. Tea, coffee, rubber, site restoration, the deductions which we get in these sections, you will have to leave them. Scientific research, section 35. Please observe carefully. Section 35 altogether had 7 parts. 35(1)(1) revenue expense for scientific research. 35(2) capital expenditure. Then we had some contributions. 35(1)(2), 35(1)(3) for scientific or social science. 35(2)AA National Laboratory IIT. 2AB Indian company doing in-house scientific R&D. And 35(1)(2)A contribution to that Indian company. What you have to leave, carefully observe. 35(1)(2)(1)(3), 35(1)(2)A, 35(2)AA and 35(2)AB. That means whatever were in the nature of donation, contribution, weighted deduction, all that you have to leave. Be clear and careful that your normal revenue expense 35(1)(1) and capital expense 35(2), these two will be available even in your new taxation regime. Even in new regime, they will be available. 35(1)(1) and 35(2) will be available even in new taxation regime. So there are totally 7 parts in section 35. You have to leave only 5 of them. 35(1)(2), 3, 2A, 35(2)AA and 2AB. 2 you are allowed. 35AD specified business. 14 specified businesses. You will have to leave that deduction. 35CCC agriculture extension weighted deduction and CCD skill development. You will have to leave. And income related chapter 6A deductions. Income related. Next year there is an amendment applicable for May 21. You won't get anything in chapter 6. But currently only income related are. So this year, if a company has given donation, it can take 80G and take new regime, because that is not income related. This year only income related you will have to leave, and in that also 80JJAA is allowed. Income related chapter 6A deduction will not be available except 80JJAA, because we want to promote job creation, employment generation. So that is going to be allowed. In fact, you will not get any set off of loss also of all these. All you are allowed is normal depreciation. Normal depreciation is allowed. Additional depreciation cannot be claimed. Only thing that will be allowed is normal depreciation. Normal depreciation you can take. Additional depreciation you will not be allowed to take with respect to all these deductions. If there is something brought forward, which is more possible for 115BAA because it is an existing company. अगर कुछ brought forward भी है तो वो भी lapse हो जाएगा. Brought forward भी आपको आगे नहीं मिलेगा, वो lapse हो जाएगा. Brought forward भी lapse हो जाएगा. And current year में भी आपको ये सब छोड़ना है. But normal depreciation आप ले सकते हो. Depreciation can be claimed, but only normal, because additional depreciation cannot be claimed. Okay. And with respect to 115BAA, that means till now if you were observing all the conditions given in the table, they were all for BAB. If you understand this, no condition, no condition, no condition. But now we have got some conditions for existing companies. Existing companies. Because BAB is only for new manufacturing company. All existing companies, BAA. Manufacturing companies also, if they are existing, BAA. Let's see. In case of 115BAA, it should be computed without any set off of loss or depreciation of earlier assessment year, because we will assume that that is already given effect to. That is okay. So all these deductions which will be brought forward, we will assume that you have already taken up all these benefits. You won't get any of the benefits in this point. Second, if it is IFSC, for IFSC there is a deduction in ATLA. 100% profits of 10 consecutive years out of first 15 years. What is the deduction in IFSC ATLA? 100% profits of 10 consecutive years, continuous. So 1 to 10, 2 to 11, 3 to 12, 4 to 13, 5 to 14 or 6 to 15. That's it. 100%, 10 years continuous out of first 15. That is non-manufacturing. So obviously that cannot be applicable for BAB. So in BAA, you will get 80 JJAA and 80 LA will also be allowed. So here we stated that you will have to leave all income related deduction, but you can take 80 JJAA. But BAA can take one more deduction if it is satisfying the conditions of IFSC. 80 LA will also be allowed. Obviously, this is non-manufacturing activity, so there is no question of giving this to BAB. Okay. Next, this is again very important, and this is applicable only for 115 BAA. BAA will be existing company. There will be a brought forward block that will be opening WDV. Yes, obviously, if in the block there is purchase minus sales, then we get qualifying amount. On this qualifying amount, we calculate our depreciation. But if there is any brought forward unabsorbed depreciation, especially for example, additional depreciation, if last year it was less than 180 days and we restricted it to half, then the other half we will take against this amount in the current year. This opening WDV will be adjusted assuming that you have already taken that deduction. So current year obviously you are not getting any additional depreciation on your purchases. That तो you won't get only, वो तो आपको मिलने वाला ही नहीं है क्योंकि आप नए रेजिम में जा रहे हो. अगर कोई ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बेनिफिट है वो भी नहीं मिलेगा. दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड कि कोई ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बेनिफिट भी नहीं मिलेगा. लेकिन सुनिए ये पॉइंट क्या है, आपकी ओपनिंग WDV भी माइनस हो जाएगी, एडजस्ट हो जाएगी, अज्यूमिंग दैट आपने वो बेनिफिट लिया है. क्योंकि अगर आप लास्ट ईयर वो बेनिफिट ले लेते, इफ यू वुड हैव टेकन इट लास्ट ईयर, देन इट वुड हैव रिड्यूस्ड योर क्लोजिंग WDV and thus your current year opening WDV. But you did not take it because वो less than 180 days था, वो half रह गया. On the understanding that other half you will take this year in 1920, नहीं मिलेगा. Adjust in your opening WDV itself. In fact, that means your normal depreciation which is allowed वो भी कम हो जाएगा because opening WDV कम करते ही qualifying amount कम होएगा. Example दिया इन्होंने. Asset acquired and put to use for less than 180 days last year 18-19 में. The effect of additional depreciation allowed in 1920 will be made in the WDV on the 1st of April if you are exercising the option. मतलब जो additional depreciation half रह गया था and current year you were going to claim as a deduction that you are not going to get, that we have understood, but your opening WDV will also be adjusted assuming that you have taken that deduction. In other words, it will affect your normal depreciation deduction of the current year also, which is allowed even in new regime. नॉर्मल डेप्रिसिएशन इज अलाउड. ओके. और सीबीडीटी ने एक बहुत अच्छा सजेशन दिया है BAA के लिए. सी फॉर BAB देयर इज वन कंडीशन विच दे हैव इनकॉर्पोरेटेड लेटर. जैसे वो 6 बिजनेसेस कैसे उन्होंने बाद में इनकॉर्पोरेट किए. देयर इज वन कंडीशन विच वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग. द कंडीशन इज BAB इज अ न्यू कंपनी. न्यू कंपनी है. आपको न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम चाहिए. यू हैव टू डिसाइड बिफोर योर फर्स्ट ROI. फर्स्ट ईयर आप जब आपका रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हो, आप डिसाइड करो ओल्ड और न्यू. वंस यू गो इन ओल्ड यू कांट गो टू न्यू. वंस यू गो इन न्यू यू कांट गो टू ओल्ड. देखिए, न्यू में जाने के बाद में ओल्ड में नहीं आना इज ऑलवेज समथिंग विच यू आर अवेयर. वो तो आपके एग्जाम के लिए भी है ना. वंस यू गो इन न्यू syllabus you can't go to old syllabus again. Old to new you can go whenever you want. But BAB has something else in it. They say once you go in old you can't go to new, and once you go in new you can't go in old. BAA is very cool in this respect. BAA means existing company. Many years say you are in old regime only. Old. Now suddenly they have new regime. You decide if you want. If you don't want, you can remain in old regime. 1 year, 2 year, 4 year, 5 years, you can remain in old regime. After you remain in old regime for few years, then you can shift after few years also. And once you shift, you cannot come back. Once you shift, you cannot come back. You can stay in old for some years, then you shift. Once you shift, you cannot come back. लेकिन BAB बोलता है पहला रिटर्न, फर्स्ट ROI, you decide old or new. If old, then new not available. If new, then old not available. Story over. Finished. Are you following? 100%. And thus they have given a suggestion that do one thing. You are losing all your brought forward benefits, no? In 115BAA, you do one thing. You remain in old regime. For some years, tak adjust all your brought forward benefits. And that day when all your brought forward benefits are over, then shift to new. After you go in new, you can't come back. In fact, 115BAA are existing companies. They will be having brought forward MAT credit also. BAB are new companies. New companies cannot have brought forward MAT credit. So you stay in your old regime, utilize your MAT credit against your normal tax liability. MAT credit तो आपको पता है ना? When MAT is higher, credit will accrue. When normal is higher, credit will be utilized. Utilize it. जब वो पूरा हो जाए, then go to new regime. BAB में वो तो होगा भी नहीं. BAB में वैसे भी brought forward कुछ भी नहीं होगा ना, because it's a new company. So before your first ROI, decide old or new, old or new, old or new. Your decision is irreversible. You have to decide before the due date of first return, old or new, and the other option will be permanently unavailable in BAB. But BAA कैसा है? आप तो बहुत साल से already old में है ना? रह जाओ old में, it's okay, remain in old. After you are exhausting all your brought forward losses, all your MAT credits, that day when you are done with everything, then you move to the new regime. That is what they have suggested here. Since there is no time limit, you can utilize all the losses, in fact MAT credit also, and BAA to a later assessment year. If any of the future years, if you dissatisfy any of the conditions above, then you will lose whatever you have done in 115BAA year and BAB, and you will have to go back to the normal regime. You will have to go back to the normal regime और आपका जितना भी है वो सब वापस रिकैलकुलेशन होगा. BAB का कंडीशन डिससेटिस्फाई हुआ, जैसे आपने कोई होटल खरीद लिया या आपने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के अलावा कोई और बिजनेस चालू कर दिया, तो BAA में जा सकते हो. लेकिन BAA का कंडीशन डिससेटिस्फाई हुआ तो डायरेक्टली आपको ओल्ड रेजिम में जाना पड़ेगा. मैट क्रेडिट के बारे में आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू. ओके. एंड BAB में एक लास्ट पॉइंट आया है, और ये वाली जो इनकम है, रिमेंबर आई ब्रोक अप BAB इनकम इनटू स्पेशल रेट, नॉर्मल रेट. In normal, PGBP will be 15 plus 10 plus 4, 17.16, and other income will be 25.168. लेकिन यहां पे एक लफड़ा है, that is 92BA, domestic transfer pricing. BAB is a very concessional rate of tax. तो हो सकता है आपकी एसोसिएटेड एंटरप्राइज है, आप लोग आपस में ट्रांसैक्ट कर रहे हो and manipulating the transfer price. Your AO will have the power to recompute the price and make addition in your income, and on that addition, the applicable tax rate will be 30% and plus 10% compulsory surcharge plus 4%. 30 plus 10% plus 4%, 34.32. वो ऊपर नोट्स में आपके सर्कुलर में लिखा भी है नोट्स में. So वैसे तो other incomes are going and getting taxed at 25.168. But if the AO is making any addition because of your manipulation of internal price, then it will become 34.32%. That is including SC and HEC. ये रहा, इधर भी लिखा. ओके. बिकॉज यहां पे बहुत कंसेशनल रेट है. और ये जो मैं अभी आपको बोल रहा था, दिस हैज टू बी डिसाइडेड ऑन और बिफोर 139 1 ड्यू डेट. ऑप्शन वंस एक्सरसाइज वुड बी अप्लाइड फॉर ऑल द ईयर्स एंड इट कैन नॉट बी सब्सिक्वेंटली withdrawn, but this option can be exercised in a later year. तो आप एक काम करो, आप आपके सारे के सारे ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड बेनिफिट्स यूटिलाइज कर लो एंड देन यू शिफ्ट. बट व्हाट इज द रूल हियर? It has to be before the first ROI. So if you go in old, you can't go in new. If you go in new, you can't go in old. Are you following? And this part about machinery, second hand local, allowed up to 20% of total. This also I have discussed with you. And this, my dear students, is the big discussion of 115BAA and BAB, which I wanted. Circulars are still there. There are many circulars, plenty of circulars. But all of them are not to be discussed in so much detail. For example, this in the ordinance, if you remember, they have clearly mentioned that 25% and 37% surcharge will not be applicable on your 111A income, your 112A income, and your 115AD capital gain income. So if your income has exceeded rupees 2 crore only because of these incomes, then entire income will have 15% surcharge. When I say income, that means on the tax that you have calculated. And if your income has already crossed 2 crore, then 25 will be applicable, or already crossed 5 crore, then 37 will be applicable. But on these incomes, it is still going to be 15%. So this we have discussed. In fact, this I had discussed in the last RTP lecture also. So if your income is between 50 lakh and 1 crore, then it is going to be 10% on everything. The total income is only, they have given example 30 plus 25 75, 55 sorry plus 40 95. When it is between these two, everything will go in 10%. When it is more than 1 crore up to 2 crore, then again it is 15 only. 25 and 37 will be applicable when your total income is more than 2 crore. Till that time 25 and 37 is not applicable. और अगर 25 37 not applicable है तो वो ordinance ही नहीं applicable. So what are the amounts given? 60 plus 65 plus 50, that is 1 crore 75 lakh. पूरे के ऊपर 15%. When I say पूरे के ऊपर 15%, surcharge is not calculated on the income, on the tax that you calculate. You will calculate tax on all three. On that it will be 15%. This is what you need to know. Income is exceeding 2 crore and not exceeding 5 crore. More than 2 up to 5. What is surcharge we have studied? 25, 25, 25. But check. Is it due to capital gains? Check. What are the amounts given to us? 54 lakh, 55 lakh, 3 crore. If you remove the capital gain, have you still crossed 2 crore? If you remove the capital gain, have you still crossed 2 crore? Yes. Yes. Even if your total income is coming to, I think, this is 1 crore 9 lakh. So that is 4 crore 9 lakh. Your entire 4 crore 9 lakh will not go in 25% surcharge. These incomes, that is the tax on 54 lakh, tax on 55 lakh, this will be subjected to surcharge of 15%, and the tax that you calculate on this 3 crore, only that tax will be subjected to 25% surcharge. That means these incomes will always have 15%. Here initially there was one debate. It was a disputed point, and this is my example. It was rightly pointed out by one of the students in one of my amendment lectures which I have uploaded, and I told that student also that I will give clarification. Initially it was a debatable point. There were two opinions, but now institute has made it clear. The example is this. Supposingly your capital gain income is 2 crore rupees, okay, or say 3 crore rupees, and your other income is 3 crore. That means, can I say your total income is 6 crore rupees? 6 crore. 6 crore comes in 37% surcharge, 37%. But before you apply, you have to remove your, when we say capital gain, that means we are talking about 111A, 112A. If you remove 6 crore, if you remove this, then what is your answer? It is already crossing 2 crore. This amount is between 2 and 5, so 25% surcharge, and on this it will be 15% surcharge. Actually, initial debate was, this will always go in 15 under all circumstances. This will go in 15. This will be 25 or 37. This will be 25 or 37. If you check this, it will be 25, but total is more than 5 crore. This will go in 15. But what about this? So if this is between 2 and 5, earlier there was dispute, but now it is clear. This will go in 25% surcharge. And then same thing is applicable in your 5 crore case also. So our other income is already 6 crore. This will go in 37%, but these incomes will go in 15% surcharge. And when you remove your capital gain and you come between, you remove your capital gain and your income falls below 2 crore, then everything will go at 15%. Because if your income without capital gain is not crossing 2 crore, then everything will go in 15%. And now similar examples they have given for 115 AD capital gain also. 115 AD capital gain, similar examples only. Okay. Next we talk about assessment of religious and charitable trust, for which they have given one small little clarification, one small little discussion. They have said that this investment made by NPCI in any of its subsidiary companies will be permissible. So charitable trusts are allowed to keep their money in 11 subsection 5, which contains any other notified investment in subsidiary will be eligible, but relevant for practical discussion, not relevant for exam. Next we talk about 194N, which is a newly introduced section with effect from 1st September 19 to discourage cash in the economy. अगर आपने आपके बैंक अकाउंट से कैश विड्रॉ किया मोर देन 1 करोड़, कैश विड्रॉल एक्सीडिंग रुपीज 1 करोड़ इन अ ईयर 2%, but on the amount after 1 crore. मतलब if you are withdrawing 1 crore and 5 lakh, only on 5 crore, only on 5 lakh 2% TDS. 1 crore 50 lakhs, then only on 50 lakhs 2% TDS. On the excess over 1 crore, there will be 2% TDS. Excess over 1 crore, there will be 2% TDS on the excess over 1 crore. Are we clear on that? अब क्वेश्चन ये आया दैट सेक्शन तो 1 सितंबर 19 से आया, फ्रॉम 1 सितंबर 19. दैट मीन्स वन थिंग इज क्लियर, अंडर ऑल सर्कमस्टेंसेस you have to be in fact careful, very careful, till 31st August. Even if you withdraw 100 crores from your bank account, there will be no TDS, and that withdrawal can be not from one but multiple accounts. Multiple accounts with one bank. Obviously, one bank will not be knowing about your other bank account. With me, if I am a bank, in my bank you have maintained 10 accounts, I will check the total. If you have any other bank, I can't check. So you have to check the total bank wise. Till 31st August, even if it's 1000 crore, there will be no TDS. You have the common sense to understand that? Because section came from 1st September. But, will those withdrawals till 31st August be included to check your 1 crore limit? Will they be included? So they have clarified that withdrawal till 31st August shall be included for the monetary limit. So threshold is with respect to 1920. So amount of cash withdrawal for triggering the section will be counted from 1st April. So withdrawals we will check from 1st April to check whether 1 crore has crossed or no. But TDS will be applicable only on amounts after 1st September. So for example, if till 31st August you have withdrawn 80 lakhs, then from 1st September only 20 lakhs there will be no TDS. After that there will be 2% TDS. Supposingly till 31st August you have withdrawn 10 crore, no TDS, because till 31st August no TDS. 1st September you withdraw 1 rupee also, there will be TDS. So no TDS till 31st August. I can finish this in 2 lines. No TDS till 31st August, but it will be included in 1 crore monetary limit. Next, no tax is required to be deducted at source under section 194N on cash withdrawals by the following notified persons. So they have given some notified people, that these people there will be no TDS. This is not very important, you can read it. And in the following cases, no tax or tax at a lower rates, there will be no TDS in these cases they have specified. So this is also only for practical work, not with respect to exam purposes. Then along with 194N, we have a newly introduced section 194M, TDS on professional fees, contractor work or commission work for those who are not deducting TDS in those sections 194C, H and J respectively. If you are making payment of more than 50 lakh rupees in a year, then 5% TDS will get attracted. This can cover your personal payments also. Because this can cover your personal payments also, they are requiring you to have one-time TDS for practical work. So time limit for deposit will be 30 days from the end of the month. So supposingly today I am recording this lecture on the 20th of September 2020. If I am deducting TDS on this date, then end of the month plus 30 days, that is 30th October, that will be the time limit to do return cum statement, just like you do in your 194IA. This is similar to that, and then from there within 15 days the certificate, TDS certificate, form 16D. So we already had 16, 16A, B, C, now we have form 16D also will be issued. Next, in assessment procedure, this time limit, like a football time limit to link PAN and Aadhaar, it has been continuously extended. We were all thinking 31st March 21 will be last, and then again COVID-19 has postponed it to 31st March 21. I don't know whether it will happen by that date also. Next, we have got again a very important amendment, section 269 SU. If your turnover had exceeded 50 crore rupees last year, last year's turnover exceeding 50 crore, then this year you have to provide your customers facility to accept payments through other prescribed modes. So how to pay, that is your customer's choice, whether by check or NEFT or RTGS. But over and above that, you need to give them more facilities. Over and above that. And not doing that will attract penalty of 5,000 rupees per day. They had said, we will notify the modes, and they have notified RuPay debit card, but only if it is by RuPay, Bheem UPI. These, your generation of students who are using mobile applications, mobile wallets, you all know what is Bheem UPI, and UPI QR code, Bheem UPI QR code. Section 269 SU says, last year turnover exceeding 50 crore, this year your customers will make payment to you. You can accept the traditional modes like cash, check, NEFT and all. Obviously cash, we have that 269 ST also, 2 lakh limit. But other than that, you need to provide this facility. Whether your customer wants to use it or no, that is his choice. You need to provide. And we have also studied one more circular, that this section, that was this circular we studied in the previous attempt, that this section is not applicable in B2B transactions. B2B, business to business transactions. This is generally to make it available to the end user, to the final consumer. Final consumer should also become cashless for that reason. Okay. This is only for 269 ST. But other than 269 ST, in a lot of chapters in this act, almost every chapter, cash loans, 269 SS, 269 T. Your PGBP, section 32, 35 AD, 44 ADA, in 50C capital gain, 43 CA, 56 to 10, in your 40A subsection 3, wherever there is a restriction on the mode of transaction, account pay check, account pay draft, and electronic clearing system through a bank account, 80JJAA. Wherever there is a restriction on the mode, account pay check, account pay draft, electronic mode through bank account, they amended and said electronic clearing system through bank account or other prescribed modes. They mentioned the section in 35 AD, asset has to be purchased in those 3 modes, account pay check, account pay draft, electronic clearing system through a bank account, and what is the amendment? Other prescribed modes. For 40A3, for purchase of asset, that is to claim depreciation, 44 AD, 43 CA, this is presumptive taxation, this is your agreement date stamp duty value, this also agreement date stamp duty value, this is for other sources. In 80JJAA, in political parties, 269 SS for loans, for repayment of loans, 269 ST, 2 lakh or more. In all these chapters, that amendment has taken place. That will include more facilities. So 269 SU will cover only these 3: RuPay debit card, Bheem UPI, and UPI QR code. But these other sections will cover credit card, debit card, net banking, IMPS, UPI, RTGS, NEFT, Bheem. All these are going to get covered. All these are going to get covered. Okay. And last, we have this last circular on transfer pricing. Obviously, this is the new syllabus RTP, but old RTP is also absolutely same. Only that new syllabus has a separate breakup called international taxation. In fact, this RTP is also the statutory update which is uploaded. So I have been telling you at the beginning of the lecture, statutory update and this RTP is same. So from the RTP now we will do only MCQ and subjective questions we will only discuss. And statutory update and circulars both are covered in one video because they are both same only. There is this, again, this secondary adjustment thing where they have brought this new concept, pay a one-time tax, 18% plus 12% plus 4%, and no need to repatriate the money. If the primary adjustment is exceeding 1 crore rupees, then you have to make the secondary adjustment in your books and books of the associated enterprise. Not just make the entry, repatriate the money. If you don't repatriate, it will be considered as a loan given, and on that notional interest will be added. For notional interest also, they have prescribed a rate. I have covered that in my textbook. And rate is prescribed. If the transaction is in Indian National Rupee, then you have to check SBI rate. If the transaction is in foreign currency, then you have to check LIBOR, plus different dates you have to check during the previous year. Plus in one you have annual lending rate, in one you have 6-month lending rate. Then again, in one you have to add 3%, in one you have to add 3.25%. On that rate, we will apply your notional interest. But it is not possible because repatriation is not going to take place. Our associated enterprise is not going to cooperate in these matters. So now they have introduced this facility. Pay this one-time tax, no need to make the secondary adjustment. No need to repatriate the money. At what rate? 18% compulsory surcharge, compulsory. HEC, compulsory. But till the date of repatriation, interest will be calculated. So the money has to be repatriated within 90 days from the end of your due date of return filing, which will be 30th November because you are in transfer pricing. But if not repatriated, then interest will be calculated till the date of repatriation. So we have the rate. Principal will be your secondary adjustment amount, obviously. Principal will be your secondary adjustment. Rate, as I discussed, depending upon currencies in INR or foreign currency. On the basis of that, rate is given in our textbook. As far as time is concerned, the end date is fixed, date of repatriation. But when will your interest start? That will depend from situation to situation. If you make suo moto, then what will be the time limit to repatriate? From when your interest will start? If your AO is making, then what is going to happen? If it is because of advance pricing agreement, if it is because of safe harbor rules, what is going to be? If it is because of your DTAA, on different cases, in different cases, your start date. So, at least this outer column, you need to learn it for case by case. At least once you go through it, it can come as MCQ also. It can come as a sum also. I strongly suggest that this column, you should be reading once. Once, you should be knowing. If I ask you if AO is making my secondary adjustment, that is obviously AO will make primary, secondary we have to make in books of accounts. Then from where we will start? You have to do it on a case by case basis. I request you to please go through it once and that's it. Apart from that, the last circular, if you read it, is okay. This is relating to your CBC report, Uniform Transfer Pricing Document. If you read, it's fine. If you don't read, it's fine. But because it is international taxation, it is suggested that you read once. At this stage, statutory updates get over, which are also the circulars. So you open that PDF or RTP, it is one and the same, because statutory update and RTP circulars are same. Your RTP will be divided in 3 parts. I'll remind you again, RTP is divided in 3 parts. I have finished the circulars, which is also the statutory update. So these two are finished in the lecture that we have finished right now. Now 2 more lectures will be coming, judicial update, and then you will be having MCQs and subjective. I will decide if I go in detail, then it will be a separate lecture. Otherwise, I will cover in the MCQs because I just have to discuss. They are solved questions. In solved questions, I just have to discuss with you. Okay, but MCQs I will be solving because I want you to score best marks in MCQs. You have given me good response, then it is my duty. See, all that is motivating factor for me. If today I get good number of views for these statutory updates, then it will be a motivation to do it again for the next attempt. November 20, I have decided to do best that I can do for the students, and if the students support me, if the students really like it, then I will continue this for upcoming attempts as well. For all those who have watched this lecture, thank you very much. I'll see you again with the MCQ part of RTPs. Stay tuned on the channel. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button. Never miss an update. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.